I just finished my workout for today. All I was using today was one dumbbell and my jump rope. But if you don't have equipment, don't worry, you can still do this workout right along with me. I will, of course, provide equipment-free substitutions. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would like to skip straight ahead to the workout, you can use the chapter markers to do that. If you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So there are just 3 different exercises that I need to show you before we begin. And I'm going to be using one dumbbell for each of those 3 exercises. My dumbbell, for reference, and for reference only, weighs 10 pounds. That is a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter or heavier. That's going to depend on your strength, on your level of fitness, what you have available to you, and how hard you're looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weight and make the decision that is best for you. If you don't have a dumbbell, a kettlebell will work just fine as long as it's not too heavy. And if you don't have any exercise equipment, look for household items that will work. For all 3 of these exercises that I'm about to show you where I'm using my dumbbell, a water bottle will work just as well. So I already finished my workout. I've been sipping on this Gatorade to rehydrate, but something like this will work just fine. So once this is emptied, you can rinse it out and then you can fill it back up with water, or if you want to make it a little bit heavier, you can fill it with uncooked rice or dried beans or kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, sand, something like that. So you can use a reusable water bottle as well. That's what I usually use when I demonstrate how to do this with household items, but my Gatorade was sitting right there. Something like this will work just as well. A shampoo bottle will work. So once you're finished with your shampoo, rinse out the bottle, and instead of throwing it in the recycle bin, again, fill it with uncooked rice or water, some kind of weight, and you can use that instead of a dumbbell. Okay, so household items will definitely work. If you don't have anything that will work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to the workout, I will be providing equipment-free substitutions that are body weight options where you're not going to be lifting anything. So if you're a beginner and you don't feel that you're ready to add any weight, not even something super light like a water bottle, to your workouts, that's fine. You can still do the workout right along with me. So the first exercise is going to be a side lunge with a lateral arm raise. So let's start with the side lunge part. Let me show you from the side so you can understand the movement a little better. So I'm starting with my feet close together, and I'm going to step one foot out to the side as I sink down into my lunge. So kind of a mosquito buzzing around my ear. So as I step this foot out to the side and sink down into my lunge, I'm going to push my booty back so that my back stays flat and the weight stays in the heel of this lunging foot. So visualize trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty as you sink down into that lunge. What you want to make sure you're not doing is rounding your back like this, because we're going to be reaching down towards the foot of this lunging leg, but you don't want to round your back to get there. So if you can't reach down very far, that's fine. Just come down as far as you can with a flat back. So come down as far as you can, sink as deeply as you can into that lunge without rounding your back, okay? So first, check in with your posture. Make sure your shoulders are back and down and that your chest is lifted high. So the visualization tool that I always like to employ to accomplish that is to imagine that you are trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So your shoulders are going to be back and down away from your ears. That's going to help keep your chest lifted high. Now tighten up your abs. Feel like someone is about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for that impact. So really engage your entire core. Make sure your abs are nice and tight. Once you've established that correct posture for your starting position, again, you're going to step out to the side. As you do that, you're pushing your booty back as though you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. And you're going to sink down into your lunge, keeping your back flat and making sure the weight is in the heel of this lunging foot. You should be able to pick up your toes, okay? And then you're going to press the heel of this lunging foot into the ground to push yourself back up and stand, return to your starting position. So basically that is your equipment-free substitution. You're just gonna do side lunges. You'll stay on the same leg for the entire work interval, and you'll switch legs with each work interval. So we're on 15-second rest intervals and 45-second work intervals. So what you'll do is with your entire 45-second work interval, you'll lunge down to one side, reach down and tap the toes if you can. If you cannot tap your toes without rounding your back to get there, then just tap your knee. Just sink as deeply into the lunge as you can, and then press the heel of that standing foot into the ground to stand, return to your starting position, stay on the same leg. So just lunge to the side, tap the toe if you can, and then come back to center. Side lunge and stand. Okay, so just remember, if you're a beginner, if you have to shorten up your range of motion, you don't have to step out quite as far. You don't have to sink quite as deeply into the lunge. You can step out a little less far. You don't have to step out as far. You can keep your stance a little narrower, let's say that. And you don't have to sink as deep into the lunge. Just come down as low as you can, okay? Work to your own level. But that's it. That is your equipment-free substitution. So then with your next work interval, you will switch legs, same exercise, but now we're going to lunge to the other side. So now this is going to be my lunging leg. This is going to be, flip that, reverse it. This is going to be my standing leg. This is going to be my lunging leg. So I'm going to step out to the other side, bend the knee, sink into that lunge, flat back, weight in the heel, tap the toes if you can, press the heel into the ground and stand. Okay, staying on the same leg for the entire work interval. Just lunge, tap the toes if you can, and then stand. If you are adding weight, we are going to do the same exercise, but as we come back up, we're going to add a little lateral arm raise. So lateral means to the side, but let me show you from the side. You're not actually lifting your hands straight to the side. You're actually going to have your arm angled slightly forward so that it's not quite a 45-degree angle. It's not right in the middle of what would be straight to the front and straight to the side. It's going to be more towards the side, but angled slightly forward, okay? Just make sure you're not exactly straight up to the side. The other thing you wanna make sure you're not doing, you're not actively trying to straighten your arm. So don't lock out your elbow like this. You wanna have a soft bend to your elbow. So make sure your elbow is just slightly bent in the arm that's holding the weight, okay? Whether that's a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a can of soup or a shampoo bottle or a water bottle, okay? Or a rock. That's another thing. If you want to take this workout like to the beach or the park or a hiking trail, but you don't have any equipment with you, look for like a nice heavy rock that you can use for a weight. That'll work just fine. So anyway, pretty much anything will work for a weight as long as you are able to maintain a secure grip on whatever you're using for weight, so you're not going to drop it and hurt yourself or like break anything. And as long as it's not too heavy for you, like anything will work for weight. So what you're not doing is locking out your arm, and what you're not doing is lifting the weight straight to the side. You want a slight bend to your arm, and you want to angle your arm slightly forward so that as you're lifting that weight, you're actually lifting it just a bit to the front, not straight to the side like that, okay? So slight bend in the arm is going to lift the weight up to the side, but slightly to the front, and with a slight bend in your elbow, okay? So we're going to add that on after the lunge. So you're going to start with your feet close together, holding your weight to the side like this. Now, the side I'm holding the weight on is the same side as my standing leg. So the side with no added weight is going to be the side that you're stepping out with. So this foot is going to step out into the lunge, and as I lunge, I'm going to bring the weight down towards the toes of this lunging foot, just like we did in our non-weighted version. Then I'm going to press into the heel to stand, and as I stand, I'm going to do that lateral arm raise. So I'm going to bring the weight with me and raise the weight to the side, angled slightly forward, and with a slight bend in my elbow. So lunge, lateral arm raise. Lunge to the side, bringing the weight with you. Press the heel into the ground to stand. And as you come up, raise that weight to the side. Just make sure that you're not using momentum and swinging the weight up. That's not the movement. You want to make sure the movement is under control so that you're not just swinging it in the air, but that you are controlling the movement and lifting the weight in the air, and then controlling the movement as you lower the weight back down and return to your starting position. Okay, so lunge and lift. Make sure that movement is mindful and under control the entire time. Deliberate. I have to start saying deliberate instead of mindful, because every time I tell you to make sure your movement is mindful, I just want to say very demure, very mindful, and it has to stop. It has to stop. So, all right. So that's it. That's the first exercise. Same side for the entire 40-second, 45-second work interval, and then with the other work interval, you'll switch sides. So switch hands with your weight. And now remember, whatever side the weight is on is your standing leg. The side without the weight is your lunging leg. So now you're going to lunge out to this side, touch the weight down if you can, flat back, weight in the heels. Now press the heel into the ground to stand. And then as you come up, you're going to lift this weight, keeping a slight bend in your arm. Lift this weight to the side, angled slightly forward. Same leg, lunge, lateral arm raise. Lunge, lateral arm raise. That is exercise number one. 2 more exercises to show you. The second exercise is one leg deadlifts with an upright row. Let me again show you your equipment-free substitution first so that you understand the movement. And then if you want to add weight to it, we're just building on what we've already gone over, okay? So we are doing a one-leg deadlift. If you are a beginner, you might want to do this exercise standing next to a strong, sturdy, stable surface like your dining room table or a kitchen counter or a plyo box, maybe the wall, or a chair or a stool or the arm of your couch. Just to make sure if you're going to use a chair or a stool or something like that, that you maybe place your the chair or the stool on like an exercise mat or yoga mat so that it can't slide from underneath you. So make sure that if you need to hold on to something for balance, make sure whatever you're holding on to is strong enough to support your weight, sturdy enough so that like it's not going to collapse on you and fold up on you, or that it's not like poorly made or in poor condition, that it's going to collapse on you, like break as you are holding onto it with your weight on it. And make sure that it's stable, meaning that it's going to stay put. It won't slide from underneath you, causing you to fall. But if you're a beginner or for whatever reason you just feel like you need some added stability for this exercise, you can hold on to a chair or a stool as long as it is strong enough, sturdy enough, and stable enough that you can put your weight on it safely. If not, again, a kitchen counter or your dining room table will work, the arm of your couch. If you don't need to hold on to anything, then you don't have to, but it might help you if you're a beginner to have something to hold on to for support. But here's what we're doing. So one leg deadlift, which means I'm going to pick up one foot. So this is going to be my standing leg for the deadlift. And now again, the first thing I want you to think about is tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets so that your shoulders are back and down. Your chest is lifted nice and high. I want you to engage your abs, so make sure that you're bracing for that punch in the stomach. And now you're going to hinge at the hips. So again, you want to send your booty back so that you're keeping your weight in the heel of your standing leg. And another very important thing is that you want to make sure you're not actively trying to straighten this standing leg, okay? Just like we did have the tuck with our elbow with the lateral arm raise, it's the same thing with this standing leg. You don't want to be actively trying to straighten your leg. So make sure you're not locking out your knee like this. Make sure there is, I'll show you from this side. Make sure that you're not locking out your knee of this standing leg. Make sure there is a slight bend to your knee, okay? And really you can bend this knee as much as you want, as much as you need to. It's better to have it bent a lot than to have it straight. You definitely want to have at least a slight bend. So keep this knee nice and soft. So shoulders are back and down. Chest is lifted high. Abs are super duper tight. You're gonna push your hips back, hinging at the hips, keeping a soft bend to the knee in this standing leg, hinging at the hips, and you're going to lower, you can try to tap your toes or tap the ground if you want. You don't have to though. It's not the point of the movement. And so again, if you find yourself rounding your back to do it, then that's not the movement. Your back has to stay flat. So make sure as you're hinging at the hips that you're keeping this knee soft and you're keeping your back nice and flat. So if you want to come down a little farther, you can bend the knee more. If you want to come down and tap the ground or tap your toes, that's fine. Just make sure that you're keeping your back flat. So your options, once again, shoulders back and down, chest is high, core is engaged. Lift one foot, soft bend to the knee, push the booty back, hinge at the hips, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in the heel of your standing leg. You can either shorten up your range of motion and just come here, or you can bend your knee and come down and tap the ground. But what you cannot do, what you're not allowed to do, is to get here and think, oh, I want to tap the ground, and round your back to come down and tap the ground. No, flat back, weight in the heel, soft bend to the knee. That's what I want you to keep telling yourself, okay? So if you can, come down and tap the ground with a bent knee, great. If not, you're just going to shorten up your range of motion and come here. This is fine. Then to stand, you're going to again actively press the heel of this standing foot into the ground, and you're hinging at the hips. So now I'm going to press this heel into the ground, push the ground away, hinging at the hips. So keeping my weight in the heel of this standing leg, keeping my back flat, and hinging at the hips to stand, okay? So that is your one leg deadlift. And again, we're going to stay on the same leg for the entire work interval. Do your best to never tap the foot down, the foot of your non-standing leg. Do your best to keep that elevated the whole time if you can. Obviously, if you need to tap that foot down to check your balance, or if you're not strong enough and you need to kind of reset in between each rep, you can do that. So now let's switch legs so that I even it up a little bit. So now this will be my standing leg. I'm going to lift the other foot. Shoulders are back and down. Chest is lifted high. Abs are engaged. Soft bend to the knee, pushing the booty back. With my back flat and the weight in the heel of this standing leg, I'm going to come down into my deadlift, and I'm going to press this heel into the ground to stand. Hinging at the hips and coming back up with a flat back. You're trying to keep this foot, the foot of your non-standing leg, off the ground the whole time if you can. We're staying on the same leg for the entire work interval. So staying on the same leg, deadlift, and stand. Try not to tap that foot down if you can. Just like that. If you're not strong enough and you need to kind of reset in between each rep, you can do that. So lifting one foot, deadlift, stand, put the foot down, take a breath, reset, and then as soon as you can, get back into it. Shift your weight back into your standing leg, pick up the other foot, minding your form, flat back, weight in the heels, fight for that balance, press the heel to the ground to stand, put the foot down and reset. Okay, so if you need to kind of put your foot down and kind of reset and regain your balance in between each rep, you can, but what I was doing was trying to keep this the foot of my non-standing leg off the ground for the entire work interval. So just make the decision that's best for you. So that's your equipment-free modification. If you want to add weight to this exercise, then you can do what I was doing. I was adding an upright row after my deadlift. So grab your dumbbell or your kettlebell or your shampoo bottle or your water bottle or your can of soup, and you're going to hold your weight in front of you like this. My palm is facing the front of my leg. The back of my hand is facing you, okay? So the side the weight is on is going to be your standing leg, just like with the lunges. Always the side that the dumbbell is on, or the kettlebell, whatever you're holding for weight, that's going to be your standing leg. So you're going to pick up the other foot. Make sure your shoulders are back and down. So if you're finding your shoulders up by your ears like this, tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, engage your core, push the booty back, and with a bend in this standing leg, you're just going to let the weight fall. You're gonna hinge at the hips and let the weight fall. Keep the weight close to your leg, as close to your leg as you can. Make sure your back is flat and the weight is in your heel. Now press your heel into the ground to stand, and hinging at the hips, you're gonna reverse the movement. Now once you get to the top, you're going to add an upright row. So from this position, you're just going to bend your elbow and lift the weight up by your shoulder, just like this. So I'm not changing my grip. I'm just returned to my starting position. So my palm is facing the top of my thigh. The back of my hand is facing you. I'm just going to bend my elbow and lift the weight up towards my shoulder, right up in front of my chest, like this, okay? And then I'm going to control the movement as I lower the weight back down and return to my starting position. So make sure you're not just letting the weight drop down, okay? Make sure, what did I say I was gonna have to start, what word did I say I was gonna have to start using instead of mindful? Deliberate, mindful, okay? We're very demure, very mindful. What are you gonna do about it? So, all right, so just make sure the movement is under control and, yeah, mindful and very demure. All right, so bend the elbow, lift the weight up towards your shoulder, and then control the movement on the way down. Return to your starting position, and that's it. So from this side, weight is on this side, so this is my standing leg. I'm going to lift the other foot. Shoulders are back and down. Chest is lifted high, abs are engaged. We're gonna hinge at the hips. So with a bend in this standing leg, bend to the knee of the standing leg, I'm gonna push the booty back, and with a flat back and the weight of my heel, I'm gonna sink down into this deadlift, letting the weight fall down in front of me. Now press the heel into the ground, keeping that back nice and flat, hinging at the hips to stand. And then once we get here, you're gonna do your best to keep this foot off the ground the whole time if you can. We're gonna do our upright row. So bend the elbow, lift the weight up to the shoulder, right in front of your chest. My weight is in front of my chest, and now control the movement on the way down. Staying on the same leg for the entire 45-second work interval. So deadlift, upright row, same leg, hinging at the hips, flat back, weight in the heel. Now press the heel into the ground to stand, hinge at the hips to come back up with a flat back, upright row, deadlift, stand, upright row, controlling the movement with that dumbbell. All right, that's it. That's exercise number 2. Our final exercise is a squat plus a hammer curl and an overhead press with an oblique twist. It sounds super complicated, but it's super simple, I promise. So first, our squat. So if you are not adding weight, let's just go over the proper form for an air squat. This is just a basic air squat. So again, the same way we started the lunges and the deadlifts, we're going to start our squats the same way by tucking our shoulder blades into our back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are engaged, tightening up those abs like you are bracing for impact. Someone's about to punch you in the stomach. Now, instead of thinking of your squat like you're squatting straight down, we're gonna do the same thing we did for our lunges and for our deadlifts. We're going to try to touch the wall behind us with our booties. Because if you think of squatting straight down, look where my knees are. This is not the movement. My knees are out over my toes. That's not what we're going for. We want to keep the weight in our heels and keep our back flat, just like we did for the lunges and just like we did for the deadlifts. So the way you do that is to try to touch the wall behind you with your booty. So stick that booty back as though you're really trying to touch that wall. And from this position, with your back flat and the weight in your heels, you can sink down into your squat. Okay, do your best to at least see if you can get your thighs parallel to the ground. If you can squat a little deeper, great, go for it. But try to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. If you can't, that's fine. Again, you should be working to your own level. So if you can only sink this deep into your squat, that's fine. Just sink as deep into the squat as you can without losing that flat back. So make sure you're not rounding your back. Make sure you're keeping the weight in your heels. And just sink as deep into the squat as you can, okay? If you can get your thighs at least parallel to the ground, that's great. But if you can't, you can't. Just be where you are. As soon as you're ready to come back up, again, you're going to actively press your heels into the ground as though you're trying to push the ground away from you. And then keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heels. Again, you should be able to actually pick up your toes the whole time you're doing your squat. You're going to return to your starting position. So shoulders back and down, chest is high, abs are engaged. Pushing the booty back, back is flat. Weight is in the heels as you sink down into your squat. Now press the ground away with your heels. See, I can still pick up my toes. I'm pressing my heels into the ground, pushing the ground away from me to stand. All right? Just like that. If you're a super duper beginner, again, you can hold on to a strong, sturdy, stable surface for support if you need to. You can also use a chair to assist you by actually sitting down into a chair. So I don't have my chair out here. I'm not gonna go grab it. I have demonstrated this modification before. So if you're a super duper beginner and you're having trouble with your squats and you would like to see that modification, please just let me know. I'm more than happy to show you. But if you're a beginner, you can really just do that. Just work on your squats, okay? If you're not a beginner, but you still need an equipment-free substitution because you're not adding weight, when I do add weight to this, I am going to be adding like an oblique twist. So if you wanted to add on a little element like that, here's what you can do. So this is for people who need a body weight modification, but they're not beginners necessarily. You might be able to do this if you're a beginner. I'm not saying not to do it if you're a beginner. Just work to your own level, please. So shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up those abs, push the booty back, sink down into your squat, keeping the weight in your heels, keeping your back flat. Now as you come up, you can shift your weight to one foot and lift the other foot off the ground. Bring that knee up and twist your body thoracically and meet that knee with the opposite elbow. And stay on that same leg for the entire 45-second work interval. So squat, lift the knee, oblique knee twist, bringing knee to elbow. Same leg, squat, knee lift with an oblique twist. And then with your next work interval, you'll switch sides. So you'll squat, twist the other way, lift the other foot, and bring the knee up to meet your elbow on the opposite side, staying on the same leg for the entire work interval. So there's a couple of different equipment-free modifications. So pick whichever one suits your current fitness level. Now the exercise, the way I'm doing it, this is like a compound movement. I'm adding on a few more elements. So let me break down the exercise the way I'm doing it, and then we'll talk about just a couple of other little modifications that you could make if this that I'm about to show you is a bit too much. So I'm starting with my legs a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and I'm going to hold my dumbbell in front of me. I'm holding my dumbbell in one hand, but I'm going to take the other hand and put it over the hand that's really holding the dumbbell, okay? So this hand is going to be gripping the dumbbell the entire time, but while I am sinking into my squat, I'm going to have the other hand over the top like this. So from here, I'm just going to sink down into my squat. I'm holding the weight in front of me, so pushing the booty back, keeping my back flat and the weight in the heels. I'm going to sink down into my squat and just let this weight fall right in front of me. Then, as I press my heels into the ground and stand, I'm going to let go with this hand, and with the hand that's gripping the dumbbell, I'm going to do a hammer curl. So that means I'm bending this elbow and lifting the weight up to my shoulder. But as I do that, I'm keeping my palm facing that wall. So think of the way you would hold a hammer when you swing a hammer, okay? My palm is facing you as I swing this hammer. So that's why it's called a hammer curl. You're going to be holding your dumbbell in the same way. So my palm is facing you. If this was a hammer, I'd be swinging it this way. Okay, so that's the grip that I'm using. So I'm going to bend my shoulder and with control, lift my dumbbell up. Bend my elbow. Did I say bend my shoulder? Bend my elbow, and with control, I'm going to lift the dumbbell up to my shoulder. Now I'm going to add an overhead press. So that just means I'm going to straighten the elbow as I press the weight straight up overhead. As I do that, I'm going to lift the heel of this foot that's on the same side as the dumbbell. And I'm going to pivot on the toes and twist thoracically so that I'm facing this wall over here, okay? As I bend my elbow again and lower the weight back down to my shoulder, I'm going to pivot on the toes of this foot again so that my toes are facing forward, put the heel down, straighten my arm, and return to my starting position. That's 1 rep. So again, we're going to stay on the same side for the entire 45-second work interval. So push the booty back, flat back, weight in the heels. Sink down into your squat, letting the weight fall down in front of you. Now press the heels into the ground to stand. Let go of the dumbbell with this hand. With the other hand, curl the weight up to the shoulder with your palms still facing this way. Now as you press the weight up overhead, pick up the heel of this foot, pivot on the toes to face the wall on the opposite side as you press the weight up overhead. Now bring the weight back down to your shoulder with control as you pivot on those toes again. Foot is facing forward, put the heel back down. Straighten the elbow, return to your starting position. Same leg. Squat, hammer curl, overhead press with an oblique twist. Face forward, bring the weight back down to the center. Squat, hammer curl, overhead press with an oblique twist. Squat, hammer curl, overhead press, oblique twist. All right, that's the exercise the way I'm doing it. So again, I'm going to stay on one leg for the entire 45-second work interval. We will switch legs with each work interval for 4 intervals in a row. There are a lot of moving parts to that one, so if it's too complicated, if it's too much to keep track of and you feel like you're gonna get lost, you can eliminate certain elements, okay? So you can eliminate the oblique twist if you want. You can just squat, curl the weight, and then press the weight up overhead without doing that oblique twist. Let me show you on the other side. I have to even myself out a little bit. So, other side, squat, and now this hand is holding the weight. I'm gonna let go with this hand, curl the weight to my shoulder, press it up overhead. So you can omit and eliminate. You can eliminate the little oblique twist if that simplifies it for you. Just squat, hammer curl, overhead press. That's fine. If you want to eliminate the overhead press altogether, you can do that as well. Okay, so you can just squat, curl the weight, bring it right back down in front of you, right into your next rep. Squat, hammer curl, squat, hammer curl. okay? That's fine. And if you want to eliminate the curl, you can just do squats. So if you want to do this with weight, you can either just do the squats like this, or if you want to add that little oblique twist, you can hold your dumbbell with both hands like this, or your water bottle, or your shampoo bottle, or your can of soup, or your kettlebell, right? Did I say kettlebell already? But you can hold your weight in front of you like this, and then just, instead of letting the weight drop down, you can keep it up by your chest, do a goblet squat, and then add that little oblique twist, staying on this same leg the whole time, and then switching legs with each work interval. Okay, so you can kind of assemble that movement in any way you want. So if there are like certain elements of the movement that are working for you and other elements that aren't, you can mix and match, and you can kind of put it together any way you want. But that's what I'm going to be doing, okay? My movement, one more time, is a squat with a hammer curl and an overhead press with an oblique twist. Squat, hammer curl, overhead press with an oblique twist. All right, that's what I'm going to be doing. So you do what works for you, but that's it. That's all 3 of our weighted exercises. The only other thing we're doing is jump rope. So when I jump rope, I always just kind of jog in place like this, but any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. So if you are more comfortable jumping with your feet together, jump with your feet together. If you're really good at jump rope and you want to show off and do something a little more challenging, you can do high knees or jump rope jacks. Any jump rope variation you want to do is totally fine. We're on 45-second work intervals. That's a long jump rope interval in my opinion. I think it's kind of challenging to do 45 seconds of jump rope, so just do your best. If you do not have a jump rope, that's fine. You can absolutely still do this workout. So you really can just substitute with any other type of cardio exercise for those 45-second intervals where I'm jumping rope. So the easiest way to substitute is going to just be pantomiming jump rope. So they actually sell jump ropes without the rope, and it's just 2 handles that you hold on to while you pretend to jump over an imaginary rope. So I think you can do that while holding on to imaginary handles. And I actually have been seeing workout videos on YouTube where they do this. So it's a completely legitimate option. It's going to be the easiest adjustment and the most similar to what I'm doing. So you can jump with your feet together. You can do it like I do and kind of jog in place while you jump rope. But just pretending to jump rope with me works, and that's gonna be the easiest way to modify the exercise and the most similar to what I'm doing. But if you don't want to do that, then you can just jog in place like this. This is absolutely fine. If you want to challenge yourself a little more, you can do high knees. You can do jumping jacks. That was smooth. So mountain climbers, side jump lunges, pendulums, I mean, plank jacks, there's a million different cardio exercises. So pick literally any kind of cardio exercise that you can realistically sustain for a 45-second work interval, and just do any kind of cardio exercise that's going to work for you for those intervals where I'm jumping rope. If you have like other pieces of exercise equipment in your home gym, or if you want to take this workout to the gym, you could hop on the elliptical, oh my God, why can't I say words? Elliptical or exercise bike or a treadmill or, you know, Stairmaster or something like that. You could hop on one of those for those 45-second work intervals while I'm jumping rope. That would be a great substitution. If you have a heavy bag, I love that modification. So you could work on your heavy bag for those 45-second work intervals where I'm jumping rope, or you can just shadow box. If you have access to steps, either at your home or your apartment complex, or if you want to take this workout to a beach or park or a hiking trail where there's steps, you can do up and down the steps. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could take this workout to the field and you could run, you know, down the track for 45 seconds. You could do up and down the bleachers for 45 seconds. So whatever's gonna work for you, but get creative. You know, use what you have available to you, use your surrounding, use whatever equipment you have access to, and if you don't have access to any equipment, just jog in place or pretend to jump rope. It's just 45 seconds of moderate paced cardio any way you want to get it done. So just pick any kind of cardio exercise that's going to work for you, and that's what you're going to do during those 45-second cardio intervals where I'm jumping rope. All right, so that's it. That's all of the exercises, including your equipment-free substitutions and your beginner modifications. Now here's the format. This workout is going to take us exactly 30 minutes. We are on 15-second rest intervals, 45-second work intervals times 30 rounds. So that's our 30 minutes. We're going to go through our circuit of exercises just twice because we're going to repeat each exercise as we go. So for intervals 1 through 4, we are going to be on the same exercise. So we're going to spend 4 intervals doing that one exercise. That's our side lunge with our lateral arm raise. And we're going to switch legs with each work interval. So for work interval number 1, I'm going to do side lunge, lateral arm raise, staying on this leg the whole time. Then I'm going to rest for 15 seconds. With work interval number 2, I'm going to do the same exercise, switching legs. So now I'm going to hold the weight on this side. This is my standing leg. I'm going to lunge to the side and do my lateral arm raise, staying on the same leg for the entire work interval. All right, then we're going to repeat that one more time. So we're going to do a total of 2 intervals on each leg before we move on. So intervals 1 through 4 is going to be side lunge with lateral arm raise, alternating sides with each work interval. For our 5th interval, we are going to jump rope, just 1 jump rope interval. And then we're going to repeat that same pattern. So that was 5 minutes. So each of those little segments is going to be 5 minutes long. So each of those 3 weighted exercises that I showed you, we're going to spend 4 minutes on that same exercise before adding our jump rope interval and then moving on to the next weighted exercise. So interval number 5 is going to be jump rope. For our 6th work interval, we're going to move on to our 2nd weighted exercise, which was our 1 leg deadlift plus our front arm raise, okay? So you're going to stay on the same leg for the entire work interval, then you'll switch legs for the next work interval and then repeat that. So that's going to be intervals 6 through 9, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The 10th interval is going to be a jump rope interval because once we have completed that same exercise twice on each leg, we'll move on to our jump rope interval, and then we'll do the same thing with our 3rd and final weighted exercise. So it's the same pattern again. So we're going to do our squat plus hammer curl and overhead press, 1 leg for the entire work interval. Then we'll switch to the other leg for the next work interval. Then we'll repeat that once more. So that's going to be intervals 11, 12, 13, and 14. And then with interval 15, that's going to be another jump rope interval. So it's the same pattern. So by that point, we will be 15 minutes in because each of those little segments is going to take 5 minutes. So if you want to just do a 15-minute workout, you can just go through the circuit once with me, that's fine. I'm going to be repeating that because remember I set my timer for 30 rounds of 15-second rest intervals and 45-second work intervals. So I'm going to go back to the top and we're going to do the same thing over again. So with our next 4 intervals, we're going back to our side lunge with lateral arm raise, switching legs with each work interval, and then we're going to throw in 1 jump rope interval. Then we'll move on to our deadlifts. 4 work intervals of just deadlifts, alternating sides with each work interval, and then another jump rope interval, and then we'll finish up with our final 4 intervals of our squat combo, switching sides with each work interval, and then the final interval of the whole workout will be 1 last jump rope interval. And that's our 30 minutes. So the other thing you can do, if you want to do the full 30 minutes with me and you want to go through the circuit twice, but you cannot do it continuously, you can always pause the video at the halfway point. So after we've completed all of those exercises just once through the circuit, I'll let you know in the video when it's time to pause if you need to, but you can always pause for a minute or 2 or 5. Take however long of a rest break you need, if you need to rest. Remember, I won't be resting. I'm going to be doing the 30 intervals continuously, but if you need to break it up, you can pause at the halfway point after the first 15 minutes, towel off, hydrate, maybe eat a half a banana, let your heart rate come down a little bit, let your breathing normalize, and then come back when you're ready and finish up the second half with me. That's totally up to you. I'm sharing my workout with you today, and I'm showing you my whole workout from start to finish. So you are, of course, welcome to do exactly what I'm doing and do the workout right along with me, but just remember that you can always modify it. You should be making whatever changes you need to make to accommodate your strength and your level of fitness, to accommodate your time constraints, or to accommodate, whatever equipment you have access to. So just remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box below the video, and I'm going to do the workout with you. You're gonna see me do it. So watch me do it, read the instructions. But then of course, as always, if there are any questions about the format and how everything fits together and how you can customize it to make the workout shorter or to make it more suitable for your current level of fitness, I'm right here to help. So please just ask questions if you have them. If you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, please ask. It's really important that you understand each movement and you understand how to do the exercises properly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises correctly, I'm right here to answer questions. So please just ask. It's also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me, and I'm always here to help facilitate that. I did walk you through some beginner modifications today, but if you need any further help with beginner modifications, again, I'm right here, so please just ask. So the only other thing you're going to need to do this workout, if you're going to go do it on your own, is an interval timer. So if you don't have an interval timer, you can download a free app on your phone. I can't recommend a specific app because I've never used one. I have always used my little Gym Boss timer. But you can download a free app. There are tons of them out there, and I think that's what most people use. So, go to the App Store, read some reviews, see what looks good, and you can just download a free interval timer app onto your phone, set it for 2 intervals. The first interval, remember always to start with your rest interval, so that's going to be our 15-second rest interval. The second interval is going to be your 45-second work interval, and you're going to set it for 30 rounds of those 2 intervals. That's your 30 minutes. Of course, if you're working out along with the video, you can just use my timer. I'm going to talk us through everything. Just make sure, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, to please work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing something it is not ready to do. So the goal is to push yourself to complete as many reps as you can during the work interval. And the goal is to only rest during the rest intervals. And the goal is to not rest during the work intervals. But if you're not there yet, then please listen to your body and make the decision that is best for you. So if you need to rest during a work interval, then you should rest, okay? Please don't push your body into doing something it's not ready to do. We all need to work at the level we're at. You put in the work at the level where you're at now, and that is how you get stronger and get faster, and you'll see yourself improve. You'll see yourself be able to complete more reps during the work intervals, and you'll see yourself not have to take rest breaks during the work intervals anymore, but you have to put in the work at the level you're at now to get there. So please be where you are And be smart, be safe, prioritize your proper form and work to your own level, okay? Even though, yes, you want to try to fit in as many reps during the work interval as you can, you don't want to be doing that at the expense of your form. So make sure you're not sacrificing your form for speed. You need to go at your own pace. So if you're faster than I am and you can complete more reps of whatever exercise we're on during the work interval, that's great as long as you're not losing anything off of your form. If you find that you're just rushing through the exercises just for the sake of going fast, but your form is getting sloppy, I want you to stop, take a breath, and slow it down. Refocus, regroup, and reprioritize your proper form above all else. Okay, because again, if you start racing through the exercises at the expense of your form, you're putting yourself at a greater risk of injury, and I don't want anyone getting hurt. So please listen to your body, work to your own level, go at your own pace. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. Do not push your body into doing something it is not ready to do. Be smart, be safe, and do your best. I think I've covered everything, so if you are ready to go ahead and start the workout, you're gonna wanna grab one dumbbell. If not, maybe a kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, look for household items that will work. So maybe a shampoo bottle or a water bottle or a can of soup. Remember that if you don't want to add weight, that's fine. You have your equipment-free substitutions, but if you are adding weight, go ahead and grab whatever you're using for weight. Grab your jump rope if you have one, and if you're jumping rope with me today, take a minute to make sure you're good and warmed up, and when you're ready, let's get started. All right, so here we go. We are starting with a 15-second rest interval. Now pick up your weight. We are starting with our side lunge with a lateral arm raise. So holding your weight in one hand, you're gonna lunge to the opposite side, touch the weight down by your foot, and then as you step that foot back in, you're gonna do your lateral arm raise. So just lifting that arm up to the side. Remember, it's not exactly to the side. You want it angled ever so slightly forward, and make sure there's a soft bend to your elbow as you lift the weight. You don't wanna lock out your elbow. You're not doing this with a straight arm. Okay, remember there's a little bend in your elbow as you lift the weight to the side. And for your lunge, remember that you're keeping your back flat and the weight in the heel of your lunging foot as you sink down into that lunge. Now 15 seconds to rest. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So switching hands with the weight. You're gonna start with your feet together. Weight's on the other side, so now you're going to lunge to the opposite direction, touch the weight down, and then lift the weight to the side as you stand. So pressing into this heel, and to return to your starting position, think of pressing the ground away from you. And try to make sure you're not swinging the weight up. You don't want to just be using your momentum. Make sure that movement is mindful and under control. Can you hear that squirrel? The little pitter patter. There's a squirrel running around on the top of my little awning. Okay, we're gonna repeat that once more. So you have 15 seconds to rest. Switch hands with your weight. And here we go, lunge, lateral arm raise. almost finished with this exercise for round 1. You just have to do one more interval on the other side, so switch hands with your weight. Oh, I should stand over here. So after this interval, put the weight down. Give your upper body a little rest. Grab your jump rope. If you're jumping rope with me, we're going to do one 45-second jump rope interval. And then we'll move on to our next weighted exercise. So weight down as quickly as you can. Grab your jump rope, have 15 seconds to make this transition. And now we're just gonna jump rope for 45 seconds. Do your best. If you trip, just take a breath, get right back into it as soon as you can. It's fine. 45 seconds is a long interval for jump rope, I think. So just do your best. If you're not jumping rope, you can be doing some other type of cardio exercise. Next is deadlifts. So pick up your weight. Find your balance on one foot. Deadlift, upright row. Do your best to keep your non-standing foot off the ground the whole time, if you can. I know it's hard. Obviously, if you need to tap that foot down to check your balance, that's preferable to just like falling over, because you don't want to tap your foot down. I had to tap mine down in the very first rep. And I'm sure I'll have to tap it down even more on the other side, because that's my weaker side. But the goal is to keep your non-standing foot off the mat the whole time if you can, or off the ground the whole time if you can. All right, so switching legs. So switch your weight to the other hand, lift the other foot, deadlift, fight for that balance, and upright row. So remember, you're hinging at the hips. Your weight, meaning not your dumbbell, but your body weight, should be in the heel of your standing foot. And your back should be nice and flat. Make sure your standing knee is bent. And keep that weight as close to your leg as you can as you sink down into that deadlift. All right, we're just gonna repeat that one more time. So switching hands, switching legs. Remember, this hand that you're holding the dumbbell in, that's on the same side as your standing leg. So here we go. The goal is to try to keep working for the entire rest interval and fit in as many reps as you can, but not at the expense of your form. So this isn't an exercise that you can really rush. You have to take it kind of slowly. Just push yourself Don't push your body into doing something it's not ready to do, but do your best to keep it moving. Fit in as many reps as you can. Okay, last time with this exercise, so switch hands with the weight. Fight for that balance. I went to peek at my timer and I completely lost my balance altogether. All right, weight down. Another jump rope interval before we move on to our third and final weighted exercise. So jump rope, 45 seconds. Do your best. So if you're not jumping rope, you can be doing jumping jacks or high knees. You can be jogging in place. You can pantomime jumping rope. You can do up and down the steps once or twice, if that's something you can do in 45 seconds. Okay, final weighted exercise. Final exercise. So look at the weight in front of you. Squat, curl, overhead press. So both hands on the dumbbell as you sink into that squat. Remember to push your booty back as you sink into the squat, as though you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Your body weight is completely in your heels. You should be able to pick up your toes and your back is nice and flat. Make sure you're not rounding your back as you sink down into that squat. Push your booty back. Remember, you start your squat by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So shoulders are back and down, chest stays lifted high, core is nice and strong and tight and engaged. And you're pushing that booty back, keeping your back flat, keeping your weight in your heels. Then press into the heels to stand. Curl that weight up to the shoulder and then press it up overhead. You can add that little oblique twist as you press the weight up overhead. So picking up the toes, or picking up the heel of that foot of your non-standing leg and kind of pivoting on your toes to face the wall on the opposite side. Switching sides with each interval. So we're gonna repeat that once more. One more time on each side. So pick up the weight. And here we go. Squat, curl the weight, overhead press. To do this one more time on the other side, and then we're going to finish up round one with our final interval of jump rope. So after this final interval of squats, we're gonna repeat, well, after this interval and our jump rope, we're gonna repeat the whole thing once more. So if your heavier weight is starting to feel a little too heavy for you, starting to get a bit too taxing, remember you can always switch to a lighter weight the second time through the circuit if you need to. All right, weight down. One final 45-second interval of jump rope. And then we're just gonna repeat the whole thing one more time, starting at the top. So at the end of this interval, that will be 15 minutes. So if you just want to do 15 minutes, you can stop here. If you want to continue on and do the whole 30 minutes with me, but you need a break, pause the video right here. Take a little break, and then come back as soon as you're ready to start round 2. So we're starting again at the top with our side lunge, lateral arm raise. Second time through is going to be tougher, so just do your best. Remember, each of these little segments is 5 minutes long, so you can even pause the video every 5 minutes if you need to. Take a minute or two to catch your breath, and then start in the next 5 minutes if you want. Need to make sure that you're going at your own pace and working to your own level. So do your best. Work as hard as you can, but again, work to your own level. Please do not push your body into doing something that it is not ready to do. I don't want anyone getting hurt, and that is how it happens. So be smart, listen to your body, be safe, use your common sense, use your good judgment, make the decision that is best for you. Rest. Take a few nice deep breaths. Switching sides. Rest. Shake it out. Deep breath. Here we go. Final interval for this exercise. So switching hands with the weight. Switching legs for the lunge. After this interval, we're all done with this exercise for the whole day. So as soon as you hear the timer, you're gonna put the weight down, and then that's our cardio interval. So grab your jump rope if you have one. Weight down. Here we go. Jump rope. 45 seconds. Do your best. And also, if you have access to like an exercise bike or a treadmill, an elliptical, Stairmaster even, something like that. You could hop on one of those for these intervals around jumping rope. So use what you have available to you. And again, you can just be jogging in place or pretending to jump rope. That works just as well. Quickly onto deadlifts. Plus upright row. Fight for that balance. Don't rush it too much. Rest for 15. Breathe. Switching hands with the dumbbell. So now my dumbbell's in this hand. That means this is going to be my standing leg. Deadlift, upright row. Especially as I'm getting more fatigued, it's really hard to balance, especially on my weaker leg. I always have a harder time balancing on this leg. So just fight for it, do your best. Just have to do that one more time on each leg. So switch hands and switch feet, pick up the other foot, and here we go, deadlift, upright row. So as difficult as this exercise is, it's actually kind of a recovery exercise after that first sequence, where we're moving a lot more quickly, and then we have our cardio interval, heart rate is up. So as much as this exercise is very challenging and it takes a lot of effort, a lot of muscle control, it is an exercise that needs to be done a bit more slowly. So it does give you an opportunity to slow down your breathing and your heart rate just a bit. Always issues balancing on this foot, and especially after my body has gotten used to balancing on the other side. And we're already almost 25 minutes into the workout. It's hot again today and I'm fatigued, so just makes finding my balance that much more challenging. So just fight for it and do your best. This is our last interval on this leg, our last interval for this exercise all day. So put the weight down. This is our cardio interval. So I am grabbing my jump rope, as should you if you're jumping rope with me today. Here we go. Sequence. It's just 4 rounds of our squat plus hammer curl, overhead press, with or without that oblique twist. That's up to you. Breathe. Switching sides. Pick up the weight. Squat, hammer curl, overhead press. Okay, we're almost there. Rest for 15. Switch hands with the weight. We're going to do that once more on each side. Here we go. So at the end of the interval, you hear how my timer does just 2 beeps. Listen for it. You hear that? Just beep, beep. to let you know the interval's over. Come back to that thought in just a second. All right, 5 more seconds to rest. So pick up your weight. Get ready to do that one last time on the other side. The 2 little beeps. That means it's time for our final minute of the workout and our final jump rope interval. So put the weight down. This is our final interval. Interval number 30. So at the end of this interval, instead of just those 2 little beeps, my timer is going to do a long series of beeps to let me know that the 30 minutes is up, that our final interval has ended. As soon as the beeping starts, that means time is up and you can stop if you want. I like to keep going until the beeping stops, but you don't have to. So it's up to you. Okay, so there's the timer. That means time is up and you can stop. But if you want to keep going with me, it's only a couple more seconds. Let's push, finish strong. And there we go. That's our 30 minutes. Amazing. I don't know about you, but for me, that 30 minutes kind of flew by. I actually almost enjoyed it, but we are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. But first, it is time for the McFlurry Minute. So I'm going to reset my timer to count down 60 seconds for me. I'm going to jump rope for 60 seconds, and if I can make it through the entire 60-second work interval without tripping over my jump rope, everybody wins a free McFlurry. So give me just a minute to reset my timer. I will be right back. All right, my timer has been reset. I have the lovely Victoria with me today. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with the pretty light pink metallic handles. And for those of you who have asked me where I get my jump ropes, I will leave a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link, use coupon code RUDEBECCA to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. We have a streak going of 5 successful McFlurry minutes in a row. We are trying to make it 6 in a row today. And even though this heat wave is finally starting to break, it's still pretty hot and I still would like to eat ice cream for lunch and I still would like to not have to pay for it. So I'm going to do my very best to keep our winning streak alive and get us all some free ice cream today. So wish me luck. We are starting as always with a 10-second rest interval, and now hopefully in just about 60 seconds from now, we will have completed our 6th successful McFlurry Minute in a row, and we can all meet at McDonald's for some free ice cream. Here we go. I'm so relieved. You guys, it's so hot out here, and that workout was so long and so tough. My legs are shaking. I honestly did not think I was gonna make it, especially towards the end. I really started to feel like I was having trouble getting my feet up and over the rope. So I'm really happy that I was able to keep our winning streak alive. We were successful. 6 successful McFlurry minutes in a row. So you know what that means. Free McFlurries all around. You guys follow me on Instagram, follow McDonald's on Instagram, show them my story, and enjoy your free ice cream. It's just that easy. Remember to say thank you to Victoria. She did a wonderful job yet again today. So now we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. Here we go. When you're ready, final rep of the day. The workout is now officially complete. I actually really liked this one a lot. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format and how all of the exercises fit together, if you need any help with beginner modifications, I'm right here, so please just ask. That is going to do it for today. But before I say goodbye, I have to say one final thank you to those of you who have been watching the videos all the way until the end and commenting with the secret code phrase of the day. So before I say goodbye, I will give you today's secret code phrase of the day. It is the choice of a new generation. So if you are still watching this video, hello, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please let me know that someone is still watching by going down to the comment section and leaving me a comment that says, the choice of a new generation. That is going to do it for today, and I will see you all next time. Bye.